Good afternoon, everyone. Let's go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask for your blessing on this meeting. Help us to share ideas and plans with one another. May your goodness and eternal love be present among us today. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray. Amen.
Call the meeting to order. Do we have a quorum, Mr. Pilar?
Yes, sir, you do have a quorum.
Any public comments?
No, sir, no public comments.
Chairman's report.
I'll be giving the chairman's report today for him, and we just want to report that last week we had a meeting. I met with the mayor from the city of Mission, and I met with a representative from Commissioner Ever Villarreal's office, and they are interested in working out a memorandum of understanding with the RMA to start advanced project development on Section A West and Section C. And so they've let us know that they're ready to proceed, and that we will provide them with the terms and conditions for that, and they're ready to execute that and move forward.
When you say ready to execute, what does that mean? Someone along the lines of the MOU that we had before?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're ready to. It sounded to me they're ready to accept the MOU we had presented.
Well, they've had it for a couple of months at this point with allegedly doing edits. Have they shared anything back with us?
No, and so they've asked us to send our MOU to them.
Again?
Yeah, again. And I said the only caveat they had this time is that they have no funding for participation.
No funding at all?
No funding no
From
funding to
any
throw in the
entities?
pot, no. So the city of Mission is looking at donating some land that they own along the right-of-way corridor. And so they're willing to donate right-of-way for the project on some parcels that they own. We'll be sending them a draft version of the MOU with those revisions, and then it'll come back to the board for consideration.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So,
Proceed.
the reason that we had entertained the MOU to begin with for the last 6 months or whatever was because they were going to be bringing funding. And so if there's no funding to be allocated towards the project on their part, what's the point of the MOU?
So, Director Rodriguez, the only, my understanding from the meeting, the only thing they had to contribute at this point was land for the right-of-way that the city of Mission owned along the proposed corridor.
What are the other terms? Are they still wanting complete control?
No, they're just wanting to be a partner now,
Okay.
and have the RMA take the lead.
So, in the original, was this money asked by us, or did they indicate that that's what they were going to contribute?
And originally they indicated that's what they were going to contribute.
Well, I think at one point in time, whenever it was a year ago, so when they wanted to partner up with us, their position was that they had the funds and we didn't. It's evident now that that's not the case, right?
That's not the case, yes, sir.
In light of that, in our last MOU that we basically reviewed and approved, is there going to be a change in that MOU because of the present situation and positions now?
Yes, sir. So there'll be two major changes. Number one, the RMA will be the lead and controlling the project.
Is it appropriate, Mr. Pilar, for us to go ahead and proceed and have a little workshop in light of the changes of the positions of the parties?
Yes, sir. As soon as we get a MOU drafted up with all the revisions they've asked for, but that'll be the basic change, that the RMA will be the lead, and that they will not be participating monetarily.
I know that this is not the appropriate item to take action, but I would think it would be best for us to review that new MOU before you proceed in turning it over to them.
Yes, sir. We still haven't drafted it up, but we're still working on the first draft. And so as soon as we have that ready, we'll circulate it to the board.
Don't you think?
I think that's a good idea.
Mhm. Okay. Anything else, sir?
No, sir, that's it.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay, staff reports, number 2.
Actually, can we go
Chairman.
back?
Hold on,
Can we
hold on,
go
hold
back
on.
to that?
Can we go back?
Yes, sir.
What does this do to our timeline on those sections?
So we're still on the board of directors has adopted the strategic plan, and we're still following our strategic plan as far as
And do we
timelines.
have the funding on our own?
So not in its entirety. But we have enough money to start what's called the advanced project development, which is really the environmental clearance. That's step 1. So it's the first step is environmental clearance. Federal Highway Administration has let us know that this will be the highest level of environmental clearance. It's what's called an environmental impact statement. And so it'll take us anywhere from 5 to 7 years to go through that process, unless the current administration in the White House,
They're slashing all the regulations right
yeah,
now.
if they slash, they haven't gotten to the environmental regulations yet, but if they do, then maybe the timeline will be shortened, but it's going to be somewhere between 5 and 7 years as it currently stands. Parallel with that, staff will be working on a finance plan. The first step that we've taken towards that is the board authorized about 6 months ago, the board authorized what's called a sketch level traffic and revenue study, which would show how much traffic would be generated and how much revenue that would be generated to be used to leverage to finance the project. And so we're at the point where the study's been completed, and then we would turn it over to our financial advisor to look at a financing plan.
Say that study has been completed?
Yes, sir. It's being finalized so that we can turn it over to our financial advisor, which is Hilltop Securities, so they can start looking to see how much we could leverage against tolls.
Any opportunity for that to be shared with the group?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. As soon as I get the final draft, we can circulate it. Yes, sir.
I think if we may, some of us that are not engineers and not in that profession, is there any way that you can encompass some type of a more holistic approach to this so that we can know where we're going and that tells us at least where we're starting, so we can understand the capacity of each professional or professionals that we hire? Because sometimes if we just take it piecemeal at a time, we don't see the goal.
Yes, sir. So we can come up with a 1 or 2 pager that shows all the steps and the timelines and probably the estimates for each phase. But phase 1 is environmental. After you do the environmental, you can start to buy right away.
Okay, I don't want to go through it now,
Yeah.
and I don't think this is appropriate at this point in time, but I think when we do come up to that, at that stage, we need to actually be somewhat educated.
Yes, sir. We can schedule a workshop.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Pilar, if you don't mind, Chairman. Pilar, remember we had a visit with the city of McAllen?
Yes, sir.
About a year ago, when they were talking about an MOU for environmental and stuff. Whatever happened to that?
So that was on section C.
Yes.
But what's changed since then is TxDOT has introduced a project called State Loop 195 that runs east and west through Stark County and Hidalgo County. And eventually, I believe it's going to end up in Cameron County or Willacy County. Yeah, it's supposed to line up with the second causeway on the east end. And so TxDOT is looking at different routes along a study corridor. And one of those routes basically mirrors our route for our east-west route for section C. So we kind of took a step back and we're waiting for TxDOT to go through that process and see where they land with their route for State Loop 195, which mean there's a possibility that we don't have to build a portion of section C because they're going to build it.
Okay.
What does that do to our ability to have tolls?
That basically that segment will be free road. And so it reduces, it's about a 25, 28 mile segment. And basically it takes about half of it and makes it free. And then the other half would still be tolled.
We had, you and I had a discussion one time that we were, at one time you have flow charts, in particular for these projects, as I think is being asked here, so that we can understand where we came from and where we're going.
Yes, sir.
And you had told me that at one time that was being done and we haven't.
So that would be part of the workshop that the vice chairman had alluded to. We can kind of go through those flow charts to show the process.
That falls right in place of what I was suggesting, Mayor. Yes,
Mhm.
that's correct, Pilar. I
Yeah.
think when you have this kind of information, it's going to impact whatever 5 or 10 years from now. We just need to be in the loop,
Yes, sir.
please.
Yes, sir. We've developed a pretty comprehensive flow chart for that. So
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, staff reports.
yes, sir. The next item is 2A, report on program management activity for the 365 tollway. Ruben Alfaro is attending another meeting with the city of Mission right now, so I'll be presenting that report for him. Basically, in your packet, you have the monthly overweight report for the month of August 2025. This year we've issued, this past month we've issued 5,775 permits for a total fee of almost $1.2 million. Of that, TxDOT has received 968,000 of it, and the RMA 155,000. We're down approximately 13.2% on the number of permits issued, and on the net revenue, we're down approximately the same on net revenue.
May I ask this?
Sure,
you-
of course, of course.
Well, my suggestion had also been that, you know, for proper planning, we should also have some kind of strategical financial plan or some sort of where it is that we're going, especially with when we keep seeing these 10 and 12% decreases in different things. Can maybe at our next financial that we can have something to that effect,
Yes, sir. For sure.
to have some projections so that even in taking on a project as such as this, West Loop, we'll know whether we can afford or can't afford or when we can afford it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you go to the next page, which is the 3-year monthly comparison, so the current year is the green year, the green bar, the green graph. The prior year is the blue one, and then the year before that is the orange one. You can see that, we've been reporting for several months that our permit numbers were underperforming, and you can see how the green is below the blue. But you can also see that it looks like it's starting to stabilize. Our permits are not dropping, and they're starting to flatten out, which is what we were assuming would happen. And we've gone back and we've looked at the commodity that has caused this dip in the issue of permits, and it is fuel. No one is obtaining permits for fuel anymore, and it's primarily due to enforcement action by the Texas Department of Public Safety on overweight trucks carrying fuel. And there's some issues that go beyond overweight, has to do with transloading of fuel and payment of state sales tax and payment of federal fuel tax, and that's what they're really targeting with these fuel trucks. So,
Are
but
you
we
saying
think
that, are you saying that some of these trucks beforehand were kind of like working in the dark?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so DPS has started enforcing that, and it really has nothing to do with the overweight side of it, the permit. It has to do more on what they were doing with the fuel. But you can see the permits are kind of starting to flatten out, so we should start to see permit numbers that are more comparable to last year.
Is there any way that somehow we can have some assistance by some consultants or your staff to make a determination on having some type of a contingency backup in case something like this happens, and even more drastically that it may happen? What's our financial situation? What's our strategy, if any, that we may have in case this goes really south on us?
Well, so these fees that we collect as part of permits are not allocated to our operation. They're not allocated to debt. And so they're basically excess fees that we're collecting. Eventually, we use them for the capital uses, in other words, to develop the project. But right now, they are not assigned to the operating budget, and they are not assigned to.
Where are we in fact using them?
These are the funds that we're going to use to fund the advanced project development, like for Section 8 West. These are the type of funds that
But
we'll
that's
use.
my whole point. We're
Yeah.
still utilizing them for
Yes.
our own strategic planning for the RMA, no?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Yeah, but we're not using them like for debt service where a dip would hurt us.
No, I understand, but if we have a plan that we have to at least comply within our own state and their own schedule, and I'm sure you have allotted some of these funds for that particular movement on our projects, no?
Yeah, that's correct. And we'll be bringing the draft operating and capital budget to you next month to start reviewing that. And of course, we adopted in December, but we should bring you the draft budget next month to look at and workshop.
Thank
you. Chairman, if I may, are you expecting or are you going to allocate on that budget any continued reduction?
Yes.
Okay, how much
Yes.
reduction are you budgeting for?
I don't have those numbers, but we're reducing it and then probably a little bit more than what we think it's going to be, just to be on the conservative side. So, but we'll have those numbers for you in draft format next month to look at. But
Thank
yes,
you.
sir, we are planning on a reduction.
Listening, if
Go ahead. Somebody may have said something,
I
but
think it was Director. Did you have a question, Director Rodriguez?
we can't.
no, I'm sorry, disregard.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you look at the year to date on overweight permits, we've issued 46,962,000, almost 47,000 permits. We've collected $9.5 million worth of fees. Out of those fees, 7.8 million has gone to TxDOT, and 1.2 million to date has gone to the RMA. And we still need September, October, November, and December collections to round out the year. So. And then, of course, you go on to the historical to date from inception. We started issuing permits on January 1st, 2014. And over the last 11 years, we've issued 435,785 permits. We've collected $77.8 million in fees. Of that, almost 7 million has gone to TxDOT, and the RMA has collected $10.1 million over the last 11 years in fees. And that concludes my report, and Ramon will give his report on construction.
Thank you.
On the development, so you're going to speak about the development updates?
Yes. So under the development updates, we'll be bringing to you a recommendation to negotiate with a firm to start the environmental clearance for the project. It'll be at next month's meeting. The staff is evaluating all the proposals. We received 5 proposals from 5 different firms, and then we're rating and ranking them, and we'll bring them to the board. Typically, what we do is we'll provide a short list with the top 3 firms. And historically, what the board has done is they've interviewed those 3 firms and then re-ranked them again or ranked them again to see where they land. And that's one approach. The other approach the board has taken is they've gone with staff's recommendation and gone with the number 1 firm, and then authorized us to negotiate a contract with them.
I think the only question I would have in reference to that, Mr. Pilar, is that can you basically just give us some type of semblance of the criteria that you used
Yes, sir.
in the past and that you may be using in determining who we're going to be selecting or you're going to be recommending? And just again, We just need to know exactly what we're dealing here. Because the few years that I've had here, it seems like there's certain things that come back to haunt us. And I would like to be more informed, and I think the board would like to be more informed exactly what it is that we're looking for a complete selection of whatever entity we may select.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir. And that criteria is in our procurement policy, which is an agenda item further down, but the board has adopted it by resolution. So the criteria we follow is in our policy that the board has adopted. But we can pull that portion out of the policy and share it with the board.
I think that's really good for us just to be kept abreast of exactly what it is that we're dealing with presently.
Yes, sir. And basically, we follow the Code of Federal Regulations
Yes, sir.
for procurement of professional services.
Mayor, anything?
Yes, sir. And then just to round out the report, we're working with a consultant for our new website. We're still a little bit away from launching the new website, but the new website is going to be more geared towards the opening of the roadway and obtaining tags and providing information to the public for the toll road. We had several outreach sessions in the last couple of weeks. Last week, there was a big truck expo for the Far International Bridge, which we attended. We've got the produce season starting in about another week and a half or so. And then we have the annual trade drive or drive for trade golf tournament, which will be the day after the produce season kickoff. And those will be all events that we will have a booth set up at to promote the 365 tollway and to promote the overweight permit system.
Will you have maybe a speaking opportunity at the start of the produce season? Because I know that has a nice group of people attending.
So I don't think we've been invited to speak at that event,
Okay.
but we've been invited to have a presence at it in the
Nice.
booth. Yeah.
Excellent.
Be seen, not heard.
If
Yeah,
you'd be so,
I think
Go
they got a pretty robust lineup already for that
they
event.
do,
So, yes.
absolutely. If you would add on there for your group, the MEDC meeting, I guess they would like us to present this next in the third quarter.
Yes, sir.
And
We've
then
coordinated that.
and then the Greater McAllen Association of Realtors. I'll give you a date on that. They called me today. I was in a meeting the other day, and the gentleman said I was selling a warehouse, and I walked outside the warehouse, and I could see the 365 tollway. And the individual was going to buy the warehouse said, "Well, tell me about the infrastructure and the roadways." And the real estate agent looked at him and said, "Well, there's a road right here, and I know you can get there to far." And the gentleman goes, "They had no idea that they had that tollway and so forth." So it sparked my attention, and I reached out to a friend so we could present there at the GMAR. I think they're a good group of people, and they would be able to use our services, and that information would be very valuable to them. So
Yes, sir.
I'll let you know.
Yes, sir. Are there any other questions? Ramon has his construction activity report.
Thank you.
Good evening, Vice Chair, Directors. Ramon Navarro for the record, here to provide you with a brief overview of the two concurrent projects we have in construction. The first one being the toll integration project. This was issued to CSEC Construction. It's approximately construction cost is $8.8 million. We've issued 25 invoices to date, totaling $3,989,253.35, putting it as approximately 41% complete. We are holding retainage of approximately $361,000. The second phase will be the maintenance phase of this, and as you can see, that'll start once we get the triggering of the toll integrator and go live with that. The second project that we have ongoing, of course, is our heavy highway project with Pullis Construction, or PCI. Notice to proceed was issued on February 15th of 2022, and time charges commenced on March 17th of 2022. It was issued with 1,264 calendar days. The September 23rd, 2025 was a substantial completion date. We should be celebrating and cutting ribbons and throwing apples and oranges and avocados and celebrating. And unfortunately, we are charging the first day of liquidated damages on the project. We are charging $16,500 a day. This comes out to approximately $480,000 a month, and currently working towards negotiating the time and the extension on this project. We've issued 16 change orders to date, summating about $5.7 million. We're still in the overall in the $8.5 million in the positive with the $14 million deficit that we had up front, or collection that we had up front. Being quick through this. Going into project production, we continue to work the paving, primarily paving and retaining walls. We continue with the levees, and we continue negotiating with our partnering agencies of the Hidalgo County Irrigation District Number 2 for progress on a lot of the issues that are at hand. As far as the AEP and the ETT line, we are making great progress on that. Tonight, we're scheduled to be moving out on making the transition on Zone 3, which is there at the McAllen Trade Zone. We'll have a power, or they'll have their downage tonight and tomorrow for approximately 16 hours to make this conversion over. And the second at Highline is scheduled for October 21st. And hopefully by the end of October, we'll have all of those utilities out of the line, out of the way, and completed. We have successfully commenced the detour on the west end of the project there at Ansalduas. We need to put in some final details as far as metal beam guard fence, and we'll continue on with the construction of the main lanes in this area and connecting up to the production that we have at South 10th Street. And that would be approximately 40% of the paving would be in place and 40% of it complete. The remaining 7.5, it's 5.5 miles of production, and the remaining 7 miles are what are beyond McCall and pending the impacts due to delays provoked by some of our partnering agencies. Going on, we did have a very productive meeting with the irrigation district last month. We got them to make a decision on the San Juan main canal. They did choose option B with side shoring or sheet piling for safety regards. This was initially presented to them back in April of 2024. But ultimately, this is what they decided to go with. We're anxiously awaiting the contractor's proposals and schedule for implementing this new plan, or this option or selected option plan, and moving forth with that. We had a very low estimate this month, $2,338,998.78. This is our 41st payment, and it was approximately 0.9% in production. And MOH remains steady at $23.4 million remaining to be collected. Overall, on the project, as we stated earlier, we're at approximately 69% complete and 1 day negative into production, and anxiously negotiating with the contractor as far as the time extension. They have submitted a partial submittal of the critical path, and it looks like they're asking for 175 days, which would put us into substantial completion of March of 2026, with final completion in May of 2026. This is in the perfect world, of course, and all our partnering agencies cooperate with all of the amendments and plans that we incorporate. Other than that, As stated before, we are diligently working through a tolling agreement that they have provided for negotiating the terms. That's in legal's hands at the moment, and coming before the board with the final decisions or for options and recommendations, probably, hopefully next month. With that, that concludes my report. May I entertain any questions or concerns at this time?
Any questions from anyone?
So that Polis understands we're in a phase of liquidated damages with them and that this is moving forward. They've given us this report here for completion.
It's a partial submittal. This was to appease us. They're diligently working their left hand and their right hand, the legal and their production crews, I don't think are totally in compliance with one another. But this is the terms that the legal or their administrative leg or branch of the construction is pushing upon them.
Okay.
So we are asking for an accelerated schedule, and we will apply any liquidated damages toward progress on that acceleration schedule. And like I said, we're waiting for terms and timelines to be negotiated through our legal department.
How will that look on payment numbers and advances? Like in the future, what like with liquidated damages?
You're gonna
we'll
see-
a new chart. How will that look next?
Yes, sir.
month?
You'll see the overall liquidated damage deducted from the ultimate production
We put
month.
another column in there for us?
The program will automatically adjust that, sir, and we will have that in the exhibit so we could maintain and track how much MOH is being, how much liquidated damage is being applied, but we also have the factor of MOH that gets reduced and credited with the 23 million that we have in credit also towards them. But we'll have all that exhibit appropriately.
Okay.
in-
On option B is the irrigation district. What does this timetable look like on this option B? Do we have people?
That's what we're waiting for. They've told us that there's a 6-month delay just in the design. But hopefully we can get that a little closer to reality. Since this option was already presented to us at one time, they should have had some backup and have the support for that option when they did it back in April of 23. And hopefully we can get them to consolidate that time and get it a little more closer to reality.
Because it's definitely the elephant in the room. It's a big one.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. It will become the critical path and on the baseline and be the final bridge that we do have crossing. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Move on to the consent agenda.
Yes, sir. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the governing body and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. However, if discussion is desired, that item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Mr. Chairman, there's no questions, additions, or deletions to such recommendation. I'll move for approval.
Second. Okay.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries, sir. Item number 4, regular agenda.
Yes, sir. Item 4A is Resolution 2025-56, consideration approval of amendments to the policies and procedures governing procurement of goods and services by the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority. Vice Chairman and Directors, during the last legislative session, the legislature revised the purchasing thresholds for local governments. And what used to be law was that anything below $50,000, you could do informal bidding, and anything above 50,000 was formal bids, formal seal bids, or formal seal proposals. And so they've raised that threshold to $100,000 now. Anything below $100,000 can be informal bids, and anything over 100,000 has to be formal sealed bids or formal sealed proposals. So we are just adopting our policy to be in line with the government code. So our policy was previously at 50,000, and now it's in line with the state statute, which is 100,000. So staff recommends approval.
8.2 is the only thing that changed?
Yes, sir.
Even though there are other areas that are highlighted in red?
There was some cleanup about DBEs, 3.1. But they were just updates with the current rules that Blakely added in there. And there was some descriptions also in there that definitions that were updated. Um, like liquidated
I
damages, for
saw
example.
that.
Yeah, liquidated
Do you know
special
what changed?
specialty items. And so those were just some definition cleanups.
Okay.
But the main update was the $100,000 threshold.
Does that still have to go through the board, or is that just the director or under your purview?
Staff.
So there is a threshold in there. If you read the policy, I'm still required to go to the executive board, which is the chairman, vice chairman, and secretary for certain items that I still have to go to them for approval. That requires their concurrence before I can make that expenditure.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have a concern about making that increase to that new threshold. But I do want to comment that that's the maximum that we're allowed to do, but we don't have to. We can keep the threshold where it is now.
That is correct.
That's correct, Director Rodriguez. Obviously, what they're doing is they're giving us discretion to increase it to 100, but we don't have to do that.
Correct.
And I'm assuming, Guidara, that you're recommending.
Yes, sir. I'm recommending it. A lot of the
So, yeah, that's my next question. Tell us why you are recommending it.
So a lot of our expenditures right nowadays fall between that $50,000 and $100,000 expenditure threshold, where we can still solicit informal bids or informal proposals. If it's professional services, our policy still requires us to solicit qualifications. I mean, a lot of the things that are required on the formal side of the house are still required on the informal side. So really the only thing that's changing is the threshold. A lot of our expenses fall in between that, I would say, with about 40,000 to about $100,000 range. And so a lot of those, what I would have to do in the past is I would have to go to the chairman and ask for authorization to proceed because they were time sensitive. And then we bring them to the board to ratify them. And so we had to do that a couple of times with the chairman in the past.
Pilar, was there any time that you weren't able to get a hold of the chairman, or that process slowed?
No,
Process or
and
anything?
actually, we have a resolution on file where the chairman is actually authorized, and it was primarily to get things done and pay bills. And we have a resolution on file where the chairman is actually authorized to authorize the staff to make payments on certain expenditures before they go to the board, and then they got to be ratified by the,
Yeah.
by the board.
To maintain efficiency.
Yeah, to maintain
Absolutely.
efficiency, and primarily because we only meet once a month.
Up
You
to
know.
what amount did the chair have that authority?
It had no monetary cap on it.
Okay.
It has.
And now that we have, even if the board chooses and to go up to 100, you're going to be using that same procedure?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the policy calls for me to get concurrence from the chairman, the vice chairman, and the secretary.
Is it somewhat cumbersome for you sometime to be looking around? Is it time constrained, not only time constrained, but also waste of time, or just
No.
does it cost you anything to wait? I mean, is it more time, or what is it? Why is it that you're asking us to go up to 100?
Just to be more efficient, get our procurement done, so that we're not having to wait 30 days to get things done and work taken care of.
But you don't have to wait 30 days. You just go to the executive committee.
Right, under the new policy, yes. Under the old policy, we didn't have that provision.
Well, that's my question. If we go up to 100, you're still going to use the executive committee to go forward on other expenses over 100?
No, sir. Those have to be formal. We have to go formal sealed bids or formal sealed proposals. We can't do anything over 100,000, and that's prohibited by statute.
And that's, I just want a clarification of that.
Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Vice Chairman,
Yeah.
Okay, move it. So,
to executive session.
Would that be proper, counsel? We're going to go into executive session
Sure.
today. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, and Blakely will be on, and she authored a lot of these
Okay, perfect.
changes.
That'll be fine.
If you don't mind, Vice Chair, real quick, before we go into executive session, are we still under, I know that we had an audit, that we had some special provisions that were still being reviewed and so forth. What was that called again? Okay, just construction audit. Okay, so there, are we still in like, I guess it would be significant, like a low grade on that? And they still had,
So last week, we had our forgetting the term, but basically we sat down with the auditors and they told us what they were going to be looking at and our
I guess
entrance.
my question is, are we still in non-compliance with that?
No, not that I'm aware
No,
of, sir.
okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we
But
had
I thought like last year or something, we had a group come in and we were in non-compliance with something, so they had
that was overweight permits.
overweight permits.
Overweight
Just on
permits.
overweight
Yeah, the
permits.
last audit we had to do with the overweight permits, and we're in compliance. We brought everything in compliance on
Okay.
the overweight
Okay,
permits.
all right. So again, for all audits that we have performed here at the RMA, we are in 100% compliant.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we're good. We did a 30% audit at construction. Now we're doing the 60% audit at construction. And then we're going to have a follow-up audit on the overweight permits again, probably in the next couple of months to come back so they can verify that we have everything in compliance.
Okay. And where I was going with that, gentlemen, is if we're non-compliant with something, I thought we should keep it at $50,000 and not change anything. But if we are in compliance with any audits that we have outstanding, then we
Yeah.
can discuss.
So none of our issues were related to procurement or purchasing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good questions. Thank you. Any other questions? Motion to approve item 4A, resolution 2025-56.
Oh, we had
We can go to
requested for
executive.
executive session.
The whole thing?
I believe that's
Or
what
just your,
Director, yeah,
his questions?
No, the whole thing.
the whole
Okay.
thing, yeah.
Okay, so we'll move for
Yeah,
executive session. Okay, good. Going to item 4B.
4B is resolution 2025-57, consideration approval of work authorization number 2 to the professional service agreement with ECS for pipe testing of the Hidalgo County Irrigation District number 2 irrigation pipe as part of the 365 tollway project. So if you recall, we have a dispute with the irrigation district on pipe that's been laid in the ground, and it's related to whether the pipe meets the appropriate standard. The manufacturer has indicated that his pipe does meet the appropriate, what's called an ASTM standard. And so this is so we can go in there and verify that the pipe does meet the standard. But it's primarily to pressure test the pipe. There's a pressure testing component because this is irrigation. We need to make sure it doesn't leak, that it has no leaky joints. And so we're going to go in there and we're going to test to make sure that it does not leak. That's the bottom line. So this is in the amount of $274,644. Staff is recommending approval. We're going to be testing over a mile of pipe for the 274,000, and it's 48-inch, 60-inch, and 72-inch diameter. So these are large diameter pipes that will be pressure testing.
Was this testing part of the original budget?
No, sir, it was not. It was not part of the original budget, but it was a requirement from the irrigation district.
It's an additional requirement that they're asking for us to do. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What kind of testing? Just pressure testing, or are they going to televise as well?
They're gonna visually inspect it, but it's primarily pressure testing. Yeah, they've got to inspect it to make sure that there's no damaged joints, and then they go and they pressure test every joint at the connection, and then once they've done that, they test the pipe in its entirety, the run, and so it's a two-step process. So, staff recommends approval.
Any questions? Motion to approve item 4B, resolution 2025-57.
Make a motion to approve. It's presented.
Motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Same sign. Motion carries, Mr. Vidal.
Yes, sir.
Any
And,
table items in item 5?
So we have no tabled items, but we do recommend you entertain a motion to enter into executive session for items 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D, and 6E under section 551071 of the Texas Government Code, which is consultation with attorney.
Before I hear the motion, just for the record, we're going to come back on item 4A after
Correct.
executive session.
Yes, sir. And 4A, and also in the executive on item
Yes, 4A. Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for any motion to go into executive session at this time?
Make a motion to enter into executive session.
I have a motion, second. Second by Mr. Mayor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to reconvene in the open session.
Second.
We have a motion to reconvene, re-adjourn here. Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same signs, motion carried.
Chairman, recommend you entertain a motion to table item 4A, which is resolution 2025-56.
Do I hear a motion to table 4A?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Mr. Pilar, do we have anything else, sir?
No, sir, we have no further business for the board's consideration.
Recommendation from, to,
If I may, Vice Chairman, real quick, I just want to say congratulations to staff. Great job. You guys always do such a wonderful job. You're doing a fantastic job in the aspect of presenting these meetings and preparing for these meetings. I just want to say thank you.
Yes, sir.
thank you,
Thank
Mike. Anybody else? Motion to adjourn?
Motion. I'll make a motion.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. This meeting is now in the history books.